Vosteed, County Comm, a match made in EDC heaven, and one that already has several bangers under their belt. But today, we have the newest County Comm and Vosteed release, and I'm not stretching it when I say it's their best yet. That's right, join me today as we take a look at the Vosteed Talarurus. Quite possibly the best budget Bugout Beater, and I'm gonna tell you how you can get it for less than $80. Stick around. What it do, Kripple Krew? EDC with DBD, disabled but deadly, and we are looking at the latest Vosteed and County Comm collaboration today, the Talarurus. Before we do though, do me a favor and stab that like button like you mean it. Make sure that you've /subscribe and that you've bashed that bell for notifications so that you don't miss anything. We are getting pretty close to 2,500 subscribers here on YouTube, and there's gonna be a nice giveaway for that. So make sure you've got those notifications on, folks. So if you've watched this content, you already know that I'm a fan of the Vosteed and County Comm collaborations. The first one, the Mini Nightshade, was one of the first knives I bought right before starting the channel to have, a limited run knife to create some content with. They only made 500 of them. I have number 477 of 500, and this is still one of the best budget fifth pocket knives for absolute work that you can find. Well, you can't find now. They're sold out. They've been sold out. Second was the Nightshade, the full size, and I got number 72 of 500, and this run did so well that Vosteed has re-released this, another run of 500, and you can pick these up right now for less than $90 with code EDC with DBD. That will be linked below. The next knife was their fastest sellout. The 500 Vosteed Corgis sold out really quickly. I have number 179. They did send this into the channel, by the way, as well as the Nightshade. So I do want to give them a shout out for sending those in, those two. And this, while I probably carry that one, the Mini Nightshade, more because of its fifth pocket capabilities, this does also fit in the fifth pocket pretty well. And was my favorite of their collabs to date. But these aren't the knives that we're here to talk about. No. What we are looking at today is the Vosteed Talarurus, which is right at that Hodeca bug out size that we're going to compare some knives for, with it in just a moment. But your overall length is 7.18 inches with a 3.03 inch 14C28N sheepspoon blade with a flat grind and a beautiful stonewash finish. We have a close length of 4.15 inches. We have a blade width of just over an inch at 1.01 inches, so a nice tall blade. And then we have a handle thickness, and this is where this really stands out from other similarly sized crossbar locks. We have a handle thickness of 530 thousandths, so just over half an inch, giving you something to actually grab onto, while the width here is 1.01 inches. So definitely has more girth than your typical crossbar lock of this size, while still coming in at only 3.5 ounces. Our blade stock thickness is 138 thousandths. So we do have a nice chunkier blade stock, but because we have that tall blade and a tall flat grind, we do get down to a nice thin, very, very slicey edge. You know, if you've ever experienced Vosteed, they know how to put an edge on their blades. This is no different. And like I said, this tall, flat grind does get down to a nice slicey edge. Our HRC on the 14C28N is 60 to 62 HRC. You love to see it. That's going to get you the best edge retention that you can out of 14C. 14C28N is a very well-rounded EDC steel, high corrosion resistance, very tough, and holds an edge decently well. Plus, it strops back to sharp very well, and it's easy to sharpen at home. So, fantastic steel for this application. And if you're familiar with crossbar locks, you know it's one of the stronger style of locks that you can get in a pocket knife. You know, not quite compression lock strength or shark lock, but still a good lock for you actually using your knife for work. So we've got a strong lock with very strong lockup. Zero play side to side, zero up and down. And then we have a nice tough steel with a thicker blade stock, meaning this is going to allow you to do heavier duty work than, say, a Bugout. We're going to do some size comparisons real quick before we talk about what you get in the package and a little more about that knife. We'll start off with a couple of Vosteeds. Here is the Corgi, which is going to come in just slightly shorter. How about the Nightshade, which is going to be a larger knife, and the Mini Nightshade, which, as you can see, is over an inch shorter. Now, that Bugout size. Here's a Hogue Deca. And this is going to be almost the exact same length as a Hogue Deca. The difference, almost the exact same blade, sharpened edge length as well, usable edge. The difference is in the extended choil of the Talarurus, making it more comfortable. One more budget banger crossbar lock knife. I've been a huge fan of the Bridgeport designed Kubi Bluff. This would be probably, this is definitely my top 5. I'd have to make a list because it's hard. You guys know how many crossbar locks there is, but this would be in my top 5 budget Bugout Beaters. Almost the exact same size because, again, we are rocking that typical Bugout Deca size. However, you have the more comfortable choil and wider scales on the Talarurus. Vosteed's Ultim is done very well here with a really cool topo pattern on it that not only looks good, but does add some traction when you've got this in the hand. And those ergos, I'm going to show you. You guys know I wear an extra large size glove. Behind the pivot, I can get a full 4-finger hammer fist. And it is comfortable back here using that thumb disc and Poon as a thumb ramp. But where it really shines is choked up here in this generous finger choil, where you can get some real control on this. It's also comfortable in a pinch grip. That low tip on the sheep's foot blade is so easy to get down and use for utility type cuts, precision cutting. You know, sheep's foot warnies are pretty much my favorite EDC blade shape because of how versatile it is. We have an almost straight edge so that you can get a lot of slicing done and stay in those longer cuts. But you do have a little bit of curve here for a little bit of belly. We are actuated with that bright blue thumb disc, which works perfectly for the thumb or reverse flick. I mean, this is tuned so well, whoop, that was me, that this would be an easy 5-finger flick challenge knife, I'm sure. Oh yeah. Let's go for the pinky. Yep. 5-finger flick approved. You can also open it with that crossbar lock. And as you can see, you disengage with crossbar lock. The action on this is great. It'll almost lock it. Oh, it will. If it's horizontal, like perfectly straight, it will lock itself out just by pulling the crossbar back. That's impressive tension. And every time you pull it, I let go. Every time you pull it, it goes home. No bounce out, just returns home where it needs to be. Great fidget, but perfectly tuned detent and lockup. Now, Vosteed does give you 3 positions on each side to adjust those omega springs to control the tension on the crossbar and that detent and adjust it to your liking. I typically tend to move the springs to the forwardmost and tightest position for the most tension on that. However, in the middle position where it came, this is perfect. It just feels right. Look how snappy that is coming out. This is carried with a mostly deep carry, tip up as the gods intended, and reversible pocket clip. You love to see it. You hate when a company misses that on a crossbar lock knife, which is a perfectly ambidextrous knife. It is also inset into the scales and rock and flat screws. I have been carrying this for a week and a half now. It goes in and out of the pocket very well. And you could easily reverse it the other side, flip that filler tab if you're a lefty, and it's still going to look great. Now, the Comm Talarurus is a smaller run of only 400 knives. I got 381, which is cool. 81 for my birth year. Dig it. 381. And when these are gone, if it's, it's up in the air whether or not they will make a second run. The only one they've done a second run of so far is the main Nightshade. So when these are gone, they're gone. Vosteed and Comm always have a great price on their collabs. So this dope budget Bugout Beater comes in at only $84.95. That's before discount code EDC with DBD saves you 10% and gets this down to $76. $76 for limited edition, comfortable, snappy, fantastic EDC knife. You also always get some nice goodies in the pouch. Oh, by the way, if you saw that, your crossbar lock and your pivot are T8s, the body screws and pocket clip screws are T6s. I wish Vosteed would go to T8s all the way around. It's obviously not a deal breaker. T8s are just less likely to strip on you when you're taking stuff apart. So I wish that they would get with like some of these other companies are doing now and do T8s all the way around. Really, everybody needs to start doing that. But in your Vosteed box with the Vosteed Talarurus, you get, as I knock stuff over, you get a Vosteed pouch. This time, the patch is sewn on. My last 3 all had removable Vosteed patches. But this time, instead of a small County Com patch, you get a nice big County Com patch. First time I've ever received this one. You get the Vosteed sticker, and then you get an extra set of Omega springs. I love to see that because not everybody's doing that anymore, and they really need to. If you're going to make a crossbar lock, at the very minimum, send an extra set of Omega springs. Now, have I had any Omega springs snap on me yet? No. Well, I take that back. I've had one snap, but it was on it was a newer knife company. It was a cheaper knife, and The screws all stripped, even though they were T8s. It was a nightmare. It was not a good knife. I don't recommend it. It's not on my lists. You're not going to find them in my links. But the only Omega spring I've ever had fail on me was on a garbage knife. But I do think that every company should include an extra set. And you get that. You also get the nice bright orange Vosteed Vosteed cleaning cloth. We are perfectly centered. And I'm telling you, this wider scale, and just to show you how they do it, it's, I don't want to say contoured, but the way that they have chamfered this, it nearly feels contoured. And the width and the height just make it fill the hand. I don't feel that pocket clip in hand when I'm choked up like this. Let's see. Back here, no hot spot either. If I had to turn this around to cut straps or something, very easy. Got beef jerky Avenger grip. I am capped up over the top, and that topograph pattern helps me feel like I am locked in. And in a beef jerky Defender, now it also adds that pocket clip into the meat of my hand. So I am really locked in if I needed to defend that bag. I'll be carrying this more to give you guys a more in-depth review. But after a week and a half, I had to get this up because I want you to get a chance at it before these are gone. They're not going to last much longer if we're judging by the history of their previous collabs. So, and the fact that there's 100 less of these. So they will be linked below. If you want to pick one of these up, code EDC with DBD saves you 10%, like I said, to get it down to under $80. Man, this area right in here is so comfortable. They did a great job with the ergos on this Ultim. So, it'll be linked below. That is an affiliate link that does help the channel. Of course, that's completely up to you. Even if you're not going to use the link, go to County Comm, buy the Talarurus, and you will not be disappointed. Until next time, folks, stay safe, stay frosty, and most importantly, stay deadly.